The Prolific Experience is the event infused with the poetry, music, and soul that you've been looking for. Purchase your advance tickets for your experience at theprolificexperience.com.
I want a prolific experience. I want an experience for soulful people that love the art of real music and poetry, that's filled with people who are fine with not being part of a popular clique or the in crowd. I want an experience with people who sing their stress away, even though they were told they couldn't sing because they don't sound like Beyonce. I want an experience where poets who have poetry in their hearts and thrown aside notebooks speak their piece in spite of being told that they're not real poets by people that feel like they have a name for themselves. I want to go into a zone that's supposed to be judgment free and not pay to be judged. I want to experience people that are closet poets, musicians, and singers that have never introduced the mic to their spirit. I want to see them walk up to the mic and let their spirits free. I want to experience people filled with soul who aren't into gangster rap, killing the spirit and blatantly disrespecting themselves. People who have a love for art and love the true old school back in the day R&B, neo soul with a kiss of real hip hop from years before these babies were born and know where the help comes from. So it's no surprise when you hear a gospel song come from their lungs. I want an experience that I can grow from, that when I leave, I know my soul has been fed from. I want a prolific experience.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in to the Prolific Experience Neo Soul Show, where we are infused with poetry, music, and soul. I am your host, Prolific Jones. I hope your new year has begun on a healthy, safe, and positive note. Today, we are going to talk to spoken word artist, producer, and executive director of Thunderground Productions, LLC, Righteous One, who I've known for close to 20 years. This was a double interview as he also interviewed me for his show.
Welcome, family. We have a very special episode. I guess we call this a double episode.
I guess so.
We're going to interview each other, and I say we first. Let me introduce my special guest, Jones-Britt Jones, right? Jones-Britt.
Jason, I say Jason
Prolific. Yeah, let's get the branding and everything correct. JC
Okay.
Prolific, right?
Yep, JC Prolific Jones.
Yeah.
That's what I say when I'm doing as far as when I'm the artist.
Exactly.
When I'm working at that little school position that I have and bills are getting paid as Jason Jones-Britt. Or if someone gets upset because I don't put Britt on my name, I go to JC Britt because this little ring situation.
Got them contractual obligations. Yes.
Yeah.
Contractual obligations. Yeah. I'm one of your hosts for the I'm Righteous One, RYCHUSS. Spell it like that because though my intentions are good, they're not always quite right. And like I said, this is going to be something different from the past episodes or other episodes you'll see because, like I said, we're gonna question and answer each other on talking about our creative journeys and our balance through the life. You know what I'm saying? Just navigating through real life situations to get things done that that fall in line with your passion. You know, and how difficult that can be and how rewarding that can be. Right?
Right. Right.
You had a busy week so far, right?
Yes, yes, I have. I've started hosting different events, or somebody will call and say, "Oh, we need a poet," and so I do a karaoke and poetry night.
Mm,
Um, just Throwback Thursdays
mm,
is what it's called at a spot called Long Shots, and the karaoke, everybody understands it, but they don't understand the poetry part of it. But the two things I love the most are karaoke and poetry. So why not put them together, right? I mean, everybody be singing everybody else's songs anyway.
right.
So, so I said, well, let's do karaoke and poetry. And the space, they are great. Long Shots is just a great place to just come hang out with. I actually thought it was an old truckers bar because it's right next to like a
Truck stop.
uh, yeah, truck stop. I thought that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I would pass by it all the time, and then somebody had an event over there, and I walked in. I was like, "Is this in a truck stop?" They were like, "No." And somebody I've been friends with for a very long time was there, and he's handling the money. I was like, "Terrence, do you own this place?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God, I never even knew," you know. So it's been great. They're very open to, my ideas and stuff like that. Where most people are like, "Well, no, we can't do that," type of situation. So I love that about the place, and it's just, we'll talk more about that. But what about your week? How's your week been?
My weekend. This is probably the busiest weekend that I've had in a while. Because I've, with the adjustments of navigating around pandemic situations and the occasional family member, being exposed and having to navigate around that type of stuff. This is probably the most I've actually been out of the house to do stuff for a while, which is good. But then also too, once you get kind of used to a certain amount of rest and lag time in between the day, the weekly grind, the 9 to 5 when I gotta go put on my government name and you know what I'm saying, and handle those contractual obligations, right? It's a different thing, because like usually, like my off, being off is like 3 days a week, so I'm usually chilling to the most that I can, still creating. I'm using the creative time in that space as well. But
I'm chilling. When people think I'm chilling, I'm working on the prolific experience. I'm baking cakes. All these other things that I do that I enjoy for me, or my brand, if you want to call it that. I totally understand what you.
Two things I want to go back. One, we didn't mention where you're actually located. What's the city and region that you're in now?
I am in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Muhammad Ali, the place of the Derby, of which we don't really celebrate the Derby. Us.
Right.
We don't celebrate Derby. We have our own parties. You know what I'm saying? We do our own thing. That's how we celebrate. We don't really go to the Derby, though. Some of us do, but you know how it is. You have something in your city that people come from out of town to go and see from all over the world,
right.
And it don't affect us. We're like, oh, they came. Well, now it's different for me. I actually live
not too far from Churchill Downs. So I said I might be a little more involved with it. But yeah, that's where I am from. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. And the way we say it is Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah,
With,
I learned that quite a few years ago. Louisville. I was like Louisville. That's what
yeah,
a lot of people outside would say.
exactly.
All
I'm
right.
like,
Dang, all right.
Louisville. That's how I say it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had a prank call a
Mm,
couple of weeks ago,
mm.
and I was like, what are you saying?" He was like, "Yes, ma'am, you're from Louisville, Kentucky." I said, "Oh, I know this ain't real now. Hold on.
Louis.
It's some little sniggity."
Yeah,
Uh,
you probably from the country or something.
right, exactly. I'm like, "What? No. So where are you from, Righteous One?
Born and raised in a place they call has a couple of different nicknames. Crescent City, the Big Easy, New Orleans, the NOLA, right? So
Uh-huh.
raised in New Orleans, and currently I am I haven't been there in quite some time. Maybe like overall, I haven't lived there rather in about maybe almost 20 years, but visit back from time to time. Still got a few family members and friends that are still down in the area, and right now I've been making most of my growth in the independent art scene in the St. Louis area. For the
Okay.
last 12, 13 years or so. Yeah.
And see, I never knew that about you.
Yes,
That's why
yes,
I just always said, anytime someone says they're going to St. Louis, I'm like, oh, you gotta get in touch with my friend, the Righteous. He's like um, poetic. He does spoken word, rap. All these different things. I say all of that. I never thought about or never knew that you
the
were from.
origin story. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm a
love it.
transplant. I'm a transplant. But like I said, I tell people though, like, even though I was born in New Orleans and I lived like in the DMV for a little bit when I was in the military, but like really once as far as intentionally getting to a stage and trying to make a name and build a brand, that all
Mhm.
started in St. Louis. So, you know, I'm my artistry blossomed here, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, so um, I guess we'll just tag, like we were saying, we're
Yeah.
gonna tag team this
Yeah.
interview and just go from there. So, uh, let me ask you this:
Mm.
to me, there's a difference in poetry. You have like genres of poetry.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got um, your inspirational, you got your romantic, you got your I would say rap more so,
Mhm.
or those kind of things. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that there's like, and I would say, like either you could look at it as subgenres or kind of like, I think sometimes folks might get like they might fall in love with a certain type and they'll get known for that because, you know, maybe they like the reaction they got by delivering what they would consider either a love piece or uh, a graphically sexual piece or something uh
Dark.
dark and ominous, like conspiracy theory stuff, like and then like you say, like something that has more of a rap undertone to where you're more like you're not necessarily it's more about the lyrical skill, you
Mhm.
know and maybe saying something catchy and things like that, but I yeah, some people will maybe fall into one or two categories, you know and that's nothing wrong with that, and I'd like to think for the most part it's good to try to you know maybe break out of what feels most comfortable to see how you can grow, and because you got to be ready. I think, it's my personal opinion, as a poet, if you want more opportunities to deliver the different messages and stories that you've seen or experienced, then you kind of have to experiment in different lanes, as far as subgenres or subject matters or within poetry, to be able to have, like, say, now here comes, here's a corporate opportunity. Here comes a opportunity, but it's going to be in a barroom setting. There's an opportunity at a church or at an elementary school. But if you keep yourself into one kind of category, you might not feel comfortable enough that you have enough material to offer either, all of those different types of opportunities.
Exactly. Or you may not have the knowledge of how to promote or speak with your piece. So, prime example, we met in the Soul Lounge, right?
Right, yeah.
Years ago, and around that time, there was a gentleman. I remember the WB station, TV station.
Yeah.
So we were having the WB come in. I got all set up and everything. I had 2 poets come in from out of town, and I was like, okay, so this is a national station, right?
Yeah.
You can't do a whole lot of cussing.
Right.
On this station, or else they're not going to use the footage.
Right.
They looked at me like I had horns growing out of my head. They were like, what? I can't cuss. And I was like, well, I mean, you can't do as much as you normally do. You got to do it in reason. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I can't not cuss. I mean, I was like, oh, I'm just not going to have WB come on. Like, they missed a whole opportunity because they got upset about not being able to cuss. And I wasn't going to put my name on that. You know what I'm saying? So I just told people not to come. It was just like that. So I explained that to some of my kids, like when I do a poetry club, and I'll tell the kids, I want you to be able to express yourself. But there's this humongous book this dude created. I think his name was Webster, and he has all of these different words that you can use instead of with all these cuss words that you like to think helps you express yourself better. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, I said, because I'm gonna take you to a church. Have you had any of my other events? You may not be able to use those cuss words, and you're with me.
Right.
You're mine. So you're not gonna be able to do all of that. They're like, oh, and it takes them a little bit, but they get it, so.
Yeah, because I think people, and when you ask people to do that, it's not for the, you're not asking them really to, not, dumb down their message or, to go against their artistic integrity. You're asking them to kind of like, self-censor with the idea that this particular opportunity can do more for not just you as an individual, others that may come into this space behind you, and it's like you have to give yourself, and that's one of the reasons why when I my conscious decision to write and not have certain type of words be, because like I might initially write and then there may be something else that I want to say that's a bit more passionate and right to the point, but I start thinking about almost immediately, all right, I feel good enough about this piece that I want to be able to do it anywhere. So, and also if I record it, I want it to be able to be played anywhere without somebody worrying about the words that I'm saying.
Exactly. And that's my main thing. I'm explaining to people. Like, matter of fact, Friday, they get a call out the blue. Technically, the lady tried to get in touch with me the day before, but I didn't see the message. I
saw the message that morning, Friday morning, and I said, they were called. They were having a program, church anniversary, pastor's anniversary, and they wanted me to come and speak. Well, it's not a churchy event, but you can't be doing all that cussing. I was like, of course, I wouldn't, I wouldn't cuss at your event, but they have to say that because people come in with some stuff here lately, you know what I'm saying? So those are the things, but had it been that, I was like, well, I customize piece, or I've got two pieces that people will wear are erotic. Because it sounds erotic with the word plays that I'm using. As a matter of fact, that's the name of the word. But it's not. As you get to the end of it, they're like, you talking about some food? You talking about a pedicure? Oh my God. Like, because it just builds them up to that point where, and they're like, oh my God. They just clutching their little invisible pearls and everything, But it's about being able to maneuver those words and those sentences.
This is Righteous One. This is an exclusive pre-release version, raw, poetic justice. Up and down these streets, I hear the ghetto heartbeat in my head, keeping rhythm while repeating what the preacher said. Something about fish and a piece of bread and walking the path that my feet was led, feeding the souls that need be fed by saying the words that need be said, having faith in the blood that indeed he shed, and praying for those who wanna see me dead. In God I trust. No need for me to rush. My enemies get crushed anytime I bust to ashes and dust. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is I gotta make you understand. See where I come from, never had cash in hand in a lump sum, never had stacks of grants of Benjamins, been lacking in funds, in fact, since day one, matter of fact, I ain't had many ones, unless we count pennies, had plenty of bum, and the insidious slum, there's pity for none, grittiest bums, scrum for the littlest crumb, which is silly to some, so they hustle till the daylight come, and dash from the popo when they might come, and blast with the fofo cause they quite numb, poison hearts like hit by the dart of a blowgun, wounds deep like made by the sword of a shogun, fear inside but they can afford to show none, most young got love for no one, cause most of them don't get love from no one, in God I trust, no need for me to rush, my enemies get crushed, anytime I bust, till ashes and dust. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is You ain't gotta do what they do. Just do what you feel. Never let them persuade you to sell out for a deal. I will show you the way through. Just trust in your skills. Use the gift that he gave you. But you got to be real. Got to be real. So from the heart to the pen, then out of the kiss, sir. Ain't none out now hotter than this, sir. Wisdom come through loud as a whisper. That's why I keep the rhyme style fresh as a crisper. Expand the frame when I enter the picture. No flash in the pan, I'm a permanent fixture. Give you what you need like reading a scripture. Street level heat with a spiritual mixture. cursed at birth, now labeled the victor with a hold on a game like a boa constrictor. Back when OnlyFans were mama and sister, I knew I'd rise like skin on a blister. Now I'm the uplifter, lyrical gifter, try to heal the land of whatever afflicts her. Not a doc, but I'm something like an ailment fixer, not the cure for sure. I'm just an elixir and I trust. No need for me to rush, my enemies get crushed anytime I bust. Till ashes and dust, this is poetic justice. This is poetic justice. This is the last one for this session. It's called Can't Give Up. Self-explanatory, right? No matter what you go through, you know, you gotta keep pushing as long as you're breathing, right? Truth is, I could be dying as I speak. I pray to God they never catch me lying in the street with a puddle of my own blood drying underneath. That's a grim thought to start with, but let me speak my piece. Life is too short to stay caught up in the drama. Any blessing I receive is thanks to prayers from my mama. Me and my sister close, we both have our own set of traumas. And Queen of me to save my life, if I'm being real honest. So it's a pleasure and honor as I stand here today. But if ever feeling away, I won't be acting okay. Yeah, that's how we used to deal with stress back in the day. But that's a heart attack, a stroke, and then you packed in a grave. Compassion is brave, acting like you heartless is sus. If you lying to yourself, tell me who can you trust? When the pressure's on heavy, will you diamond or bust? You can't quit now, I promise you could make it, but you just... Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man, I look in the mirror, I see the age, you know what I'm saying? I've been living this backup plan for so long, you know? And sometimes I wonder why I still do this, why I still make music, I still go on stages, but I know as long as I'm breathing, I gotta keep going, right? Because deep down, I just feel like I'm still like this. I'm like this unknown legend, unknown genius, one of the illest minds designed Earth, Mars, or Venus. Let him in, he's medicine. Intravenous, you get the picture once he live at Tipitina's. Bayou boy, growed up, got his game sewed up, pen and pad in his hand. Look here, man, hold up, big and easy, cool and breezy, like a frozen cold cup from round the corner with them quarters from your heated sofa. But you never hear him saying that they show him no love. Made his name and his home in the show me, show enough. Embraced with hugs like a long lost cuz. Had to start it all over, cause I lost my buzz. They see the platinum on the chin, think he tardy for the bloom, but you can stand him right up next to the hardest in the room. Finger paint in my placenta, been an artist since the boom. Flare 8 graffiti bump box embedded in my tomb. I'm the keeper of the boom. Reaper under moon, you will not outwork me if you sleeping until noon. Can't just leap into this bag, it's flyer and you assume I'm a dragon out of cocoon. For pretenders I am doom and yeah, too far. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, this is Righteous One. You can hear this exclusively on my Bandcamp channel outside of this beautiful radio broadcast. Peace and blessings. Thank you, JC.
The Prolific Experience is the event infused with the poetry, music, and soul that you've been looking for. Purchase your advance tickets for your experience at theprolificexperience.com.